If you're watching this video, chances are at some point in your marketing and business journey, you have felt that knot in your stomach when you've been told that you need to close this sale, or you felt like you've had to hustle harder to get clients. I see you. I've been there too, sitting at my desk wondering, why does marketing have to feel so pushy or ick or gross? I know that you're tired. I know that you hate pushy sales. I know that you don't want to feel like you have to hustle harder to attract clients and to grow your business. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 tips for a gentler, more intentional way to attract clients into your business, the right clients, without feeling sleazy, pushy, or overwhelmed. By the end of this video, you're going to have a much clearer pathway for helping you grow your business and market your offerings in a way that feels authentic, aligned, and natural, and maybe even a little joyful too. Before I get into it, let's just talk about what aggressive marketing really looks like and the way that many of us, especially if you've ever been to coaching school and you've been taught more of the traditional methods of marketing your business and getting clients, is really about coercing people into working with you, doing hard sells to get people into your programs and to sell your offerings, honestly, in many cases to people who are really not the right fit for your work. Later in this video, I'm going to share my personal story on using aggressive sales marketing tactics that I was taught after I graduated life coaching school, and how it honestly made me hate my business before I even had a chance to get it off of the ground, and how I was able to transform to a softer, more gentle, more values-aligned approach that makes me enjoy marketing, not loathe it anymore, not feel like I'm bothering people, and makes me feel like I'm building true, genuine relationships. I think it's especially important for highly sensitive business owners who are easily overwhelmed, who get exhausted when things feel misaligned, who really need to have an approach that is aligned with their values and who they are, because otherwise we get really burnt out. It is really easy for clients or potential clients to sense when we're out of alignment with what it is that we're saying or what it is that we're selling, because the methods we're using feel too harsh or too aggressive and just doesn't align with the heart-centered businesses that we want to build. So in the end, an aggressive sales marketing tactic for highly sensitive people backfires immensely, because rather than drawing people in, we end up repelling people, pushing people away, because they can sense the disconnect between what it is that we're saying and how we feel about the approach that we're using. The truth is, you never need to convince anybody to work with you. If that's the advice that you've been given and it feels off-putting, it feels misaligned, it feels gross, please know that you do not need to follow any manipulative or persuasive marketing tactics to get people to work with you. Being who you are is persuasive enough for the right people. So here's one of the first tips that I have to help you push away from aggressive, pushy marketing tactics to something that feels more authentic and aligned, is to honor the natural rhythm of relationships. Just as gardens can't be rushed, neither can genuine connections with the right people. And that's what you want for your audience, is you want to build connections, not transactions. So much of the aggressive marketing that we see today that's often being promoted by, still a lot of the coaches and marketing people that we turn to for advice to help us grow our businesses is really about trying to make the sale now, trying to get in front of as many people as you can, where you're constantly selling with people and you're constantly trying to show up in their feed, or you're constantly trying to be top of mind in their inbox. And you're almost forcing a relationship to happen versus allowing the natural rhythm of that relationship to grow. I can't tell you how often I have been posting content on Instagram or sending emails out to my newsletter subscribers, and suddenly, out of the blue, someone will reach out to me and say, I've been following you for so long and your work has really resonated. But they were waiting for the right time to either build the courage to reach out or to find the right moment that was going to work with them. Maybe it was the right offering. And then they reach out to me and they're excited to work with me. The point being is that when we stop trying to push people on our timeline, that's when the magic happens. So it's okay to lean back. Stop trying to force a connection with people in your audience or people who are following you, and just allow it to happen naturally. So the second tip to help you get clients without aggressive, pushy marketing tactics is to let your work breathe. Create some space between your offerings. If you're constantly showing up in your email newsletters or on Instagram or wherever you're sharing content and you're selling, and selling, not only are you going to burn out with that approach, but your audience is going to burn out too. Rather than constantly launching new things, allow there to be some time for integration, reflection, and organic growth so that you don't feel the pressure to always have to be creating new things and then trying to find the audience or the clients or the students to buy those offerings. And when you start to feel that pressure to meet a certain quota or to fill a new offering because you've just launched something again, you're going to feel that pressure to use more forceful tactics because you want that offering to be successful. But just remember, it is super annoying to always be sold to. If I'm following somebody online and every post is about selling me something, that's like a boundary because I need time to build that connection. Just remember that it's in the quiet spaces where the most aligned opportunities emerge. The next tip, and this is my absolute favorite, is to embrace the power of maybe not. This is something rarely ever taught when you take a marketing course or something rarely ever said in the online business space, is that it's okay to gently guide people away from your work if it isn't the right fit. So much of mainstream marketing is about converting people at any cost, converting people into your offerings that maybe are not ready for that service or not the right fit, maybe don't have the resources or the funds, which never feels good for anybody. I remember a few years ago when I was doing one-to-one coaching with clients, I had a client come to me who was interested in working with me in one of my programs, and she insisted on working with me. And when we were in our discovery call, we were just having a casual conversation. I was getting to understand where she was at with her business. I could sense pretty early on that this was not going to be the right fit for my work. I tend to work with clients who were a little further along in their business, maybe 3 or 4 years in. They understand a lot of the basics about content creation, growing an audience. And I sensed with this particular potential client that there was a lot of chaos happening behind the scenes. She may not be able to commit to some of the work that, we would intend on doing together. And the biggest red flag for me was the fact that she was coming from a place of desperation versus just that pure joy and excitement to have the support of somebody alongside her in her business to bounce ideas off of, to get a fresh perspective, to help her kind of get unstuck. And I went against my better judgment after this potential client insisted many, many times throughout the call that I was the coach that she wanted to work with. I went against my better judgment, and of course, this was one of the worst coaching experiences. Not because there was anything wrong with this client. She was lovely. My heart really went out to her, which was why I went against a boundary and I decided to take her on as a client because I genuinely wanted to support her. But it was soon after we began working together, she wasn't available for calls. The commitment waned and that excitement level that she had on the discovery call waned very quickly. And pretty soon I knew we just weren't even meeting anymore, and I just didn't hear from her. And it's like, okay, I got the money from the client, but is that what I'm in the business to do? Is that why I share my work with people? Of course, I want to make a sustainable income so that I can support my lifestyle comfortably. But getting people into my programs or in my courses who are not the right fit doesn't align with one of my core values for my business, which is authenticity. I want to serve people who can genuinely benefit from my work. Trust builds when we prioritize what's going to be best for that client or that student or that person over just making a sale. Your potential clients are going to be so relieved and so grateful if they were to get on a discovery call with you and you were to say, you know what, that is not really an area of expertise that I can support you in, but I know somebody who would be great at helping you with this. That doesn't happen on most sales calls. They're there to get the sale no matter what. But if you turn that on its head, people are going to be so grateful to have somebody looking out for them in that way. Not just taking their money, but really genuinely putting their best interests at heart. Whether they're right or not for your programs, they're going to remember you. Even though you may not be the right coach for them or the right person to teach them on X, Y, or Z, they're going to remember you and they're going to refer you to their friends. They're going to tell people about you without you having to go against your integrity or your values to get the sale. The fourth tip is to create purposeful pauses. When I think back to when I was doing coaching, especially in the early days, whenever anybody would send me an inquiry through my website to want to work with me one-on-one or ask about my services, I would get so excited. I would be like, oh my God, somebody wants to work with me. I couldn't wait to get back to my desk to send them an email, and I was constantly in reactive mode. That reactive energy really takes away from the ability to be genuinely present for your client when you're on a call with them or when you're trying to make a decision whether this is going to be a right fit for both you and for your client. So the next time a potential client reaches out to you to learn about your offerings and to see how they can work with you one-on-one, rather than running to your computer right away and typing up a response and trying to find some time in your calendar, take a purposeful pause instead. Take a breath, pour yourself a hot cup of tea, light yourself a candle, and get into the right sort of headspace to help you be genuinely present for your client when you get on that discovery call, so that you can focus on building a meaningful connection. You can focus on your active listening. You can focus on really tuning in to what it is that your client needs and where they're at on their journey, so you can help discern whether or not this client is truly the best fit for your work. The final one, number 5, is to practice the art of story listening. When I became a new coach, we were just taught to get on a call, we had a sales script, and we had to hit all of these different points in order to sell the client on our coaching packages. We were never taught to just listen. So before you get into sharing your story about why you created this program, why it's the best fit, why it's the best program on the planet, let them share theirs. Here's a challenge for you. Before you get on your next discovery call, set a timer for 7 minutes and just let your potential client speak. Listen to them talk about their problems. How are they describing it? Where are they at? Do all of this without planning a response or thinking about your services or thinking about how your service can help them and how you're going to sell them into this program and how they sound like they are a great fit for this work. It's truly amazing that this lost art of listening and what a powerful tool it can be to help really transform a conversation without any selling involved. When you can really see, hear, and understand what it is that your potential clients are speaking about, and you can reflect that back to them through the art of active listening, it can really transform your conversation into deep, authentic connection. I'll never forget when I became a new coach. I graduated from life coaching school. I was super eager to start my business and get clients and get this thing off the ground. I couldn't wait to take the marketing training that was offered to me by my life coaching school. So when I got my certification, I was sorely disappointed when they handed me a white binder, a thick white binder with a bunch of marketing tabs that were just filled with pitchy marketing, discovery call, sales scripts to help sell clients into offerings they didn't need. It was filled with how to overcome objections, what to say when your client says they don't have the money, they need to speak to their husband first. And there were all of these different ways to overcome objections. And I remember when I had to get on my first few discovery calls, I thought, I can't do this. I was so nervous. I was racked with fear. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think about the client. I couldn't be present because I was so concerned about listening for their objections and how I could refer to my script to squash their objections, to essentially get them into a program that neither of us really knew if it was the right fit or not, because I couldn't be present for my potential new client. So a lot of those coaching calls really didn't do much. Thankfully, they didn't really go anywhere. So it was soon after that I realized I'm not going to be able to sustain this. If this is how marketing is, I don't want to do this type of selling. I don't want to be on sales calls. And so it was pretty soon after I just decided to ditch the big white binder and just show up authentically as myself instead and have a genuine conversation with someone to learn where they're at in their business, to genuinely see if we're going to be the right fit, to make a connection with that person with no intention of selling them on anything, just simply listening and serving and coming from a place of service rather than selling. Before we wrap up, I want you to just close your eyes and just imagine that tomorrow you wake up fully aligned in the way that you attract clients or get the right people into your offerings and programs. No pressure, no icky sales tactics, no aggressive marketing, just you showing up as your fullest, most authentic self? What would that feel like in your body? How would that transform how you feel about marketing? What conversations would you be having with people? Whatever feeling comes up for you as you think about marketing your offerings in a way that feels joyful and authentic, that feeling, that's always available to you. Remember, your business is not just about what you do, it's about how you make people feel in your presence. When you release the pressure to convert clients into making sales and into your programs, you make space and open it up for genuine connections and relationships to flourish and to thrive. So what about you? Have you been frustrated by having to sell your offerings in a way that feels pushy and aggressive? Do you hate selling? Do you hate getting on discovery calls with clients? Or what have you found has really helped you share your offerings and your work in a way that feels joyful, simple, and authentic? Leave a comment below and let us know. If you're looking for more ways to grow your business in more ways that feel simple and authentic and aligned, don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again next week.